San Diego, and I got on an elevator, and Brent Spiner and Michael Dorn got into the elevator with me.
Were you just like,
and I was just like, but I'm a either nice enough guy or not enough of a pushy guy. I didn't want to talk to them or like make
about
them
Star Trek.
Yeah, talk to me or anything. I just appreciated kind of being in their presence. I was kind of excited, like I'm in an elevator with Data and Worf. It was really exciting, and I think I would have like ruined it if I had talked to them.
Absolutely.
But it was just kind of fun.
Fuck off.
Did they talk, or were they just being
They were talking to each other, and I had seen them previously, like at the actual Comic-Con, and talked to them there a little bit.
Movie star.
Right.
But yeah, I guess I'm consider myself kind of a respectful enough person. I valued their privacy that I enjoyed being near them, but I didn't need to like interject myself there.
It's a great story.
He
when
seemed
we
a little
were
annoyed.
at the Austin convention, we got our picture taken with Patrick Stewart, and when you
for the record, I've touched Patrick Stewart.
Just put that on the record.
Well, no, I'm about to one up you here.
I sucked his dick, bro.
When you go for those
it's not even
pictures,
cheating at that point.
When you go for those pictures, it's like your yearbook, your yearly photo pictures at school.
Right.
And they've got all those lights set up, and it's so bright. And I can't tell, like every picture that we've taken with a Trek celebrity, they either had to do again or I look like shit in them because I blink when they take the picture. And so we are there with Patrick Stewart, and he's got his arm around me.
Ooh.
And
I got hard.
like it's so nice. They're so nice. They're so nice, and they're so congenial.
Yeah.
And so they take the picture, and I knew it. I knew the second they took the picture that I ruined it. But the photographer was very nice, and he said, "One more." And I could feel Patrick Stewart just being like, "One more? Why do we have to do that?" And so I went, "It's my fault. I blinked." And he rubs my shoulder, like here. He rubbed my shoulder, and he said, "Oh, don't blink." Oh, like that just like the whole that whole thing just like made my life, And so we took the picture, and it turned out wonderful, and I turned to him and I was like, "Thank you for doing that."
That was a class movie.
Yeah, and it's one it's on the wall in our living room. Like it's
we have no pictures of our family, but we have like 8 pictures of us with Star Trek actors on our wall.
Better.
This is real.
Better.
It's the family you choose.
It's the
All right, let's close it off. Hambone.
All right.
Actually, if I may, you guys have kind of taken this epic journey. I would like to hear I'll start with you. What is your favorite episode that you've seen?
Oh.
All right. My favorite.
Love Metamorphosis.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite was actually Metamorphosis, and the reason Metamorphosis was my favorite is you hear a lot about Amok Time or City on the Edge of Forever or Balance of Terror.
Yeah, it's not a common pick.
Exactly. Right. Nobody talks about Metamorphosis, and to my mind, it's this beautiful, fucked up love story about this weird alien force that's fucking this dude for years. He doesn't even realize he's getting fucked, or that's the equivalent of fuck for this thing. And she loves him and gives up immortality and what she is to join with this human who also has never known love.
Hoggett. Well, it's Farmer Hoggett.
And because she's in love with Zephram Cochrane, and that he finally comes to accept her and everything.
Is that the episode, Zephram Cochrane?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's beautiful.
Is he actually in that?
Yes, but it's not James Cromwell. But it's his original appearance. It's one Gene L. Kuhn wrote. He's one of the big. He's the other Gene on Star Trek, essentially.
The 2 Genes.
Yeah, and it's my favorite. Genes. But I'm a big fan of love stories where there is a woman sort of controlling a man. So take that for what it's worth. But I think it's actually a very beautiful love story and unconventional for its time. That's my take on it. That's my favorite.
Sergio?
They're all so good.
That's the goddamn I celebrate his entire club.
Whom Gods Destroy. Mark of Gideon.
I don't know. I really like Corbomite Maneuver. The Corbomite.
It's so fucking good.
I really enjoyed that because it wasn't this like giant like space spectacle. Like they weren't going on this other planet and dealing with this crazy godlike being, or even like with this other crazy. I mean, they're dealing with this other race, but it's not like it's not like Friday's Child where they go down and like fuck around with Space Dothraki. It's Captain Kirk doing what he does best.
Yeah.
Is like
outsmarting motherfuckers.
Yeah, is being one of the best goddamn captains in the Federation.
Oh God, I think that's epitomized perfectly in The Wrath of Khan.
Yes,
Where
he does the
outsmarts
exact same.
Khan, and that
Yes,
that look on.
Khan's face.
Yeah,
When
I know.
Well, and also Space Seed is great too. Space Seed is fucking amazing because
I love Space Seed. That would be my number 2.
You see Kirk finally
meeting
his match and getting beat. And if it wasn't for that,
Lieutenant,
the
history professor,
the history professor,
with
like
stars
he would have died.
Yeah.
Well, I've always, and I think it's because of that episode. Like I always thought, like if I ever had a place in Starfleet, it would probably be
the book lady.
It would be like
you'd be the half-price books lady.
Yeah,
on the
the Starfleet librarian.
Half-price pads.
Here's Mary Beth.
That would probably be my job too.
She can't ever do anything except file something.
But
every once in a while we got to bring her for her expertise
to book planet.
Now we need to refer to Harry Potter for some reason.
The Lord Voldemort was it?
And Kirk's always like, "Who are you?" Like he
Office
doesn't
Christmas Party
recognize you.
Captain.
But a common theme in both those episodes is Kirk's compassion at the end.
It's true.
Like, he offers
He doesn't kill
the
unless he
Romulan
has to.
commander. He's like, "Hey, we can beam you aboard." And obviously, the Romulan, it's like that's not our way. In another life, we could have been homies.
Right.
That was the original title.
But like
by any other name, we can give you dudes a planet.
oh yeah.
It's true.
And which I still have my issues with that because like that guy straight up like fucking killed one of their crew
Lieutenant.
members. And
Yeah.
it's like,
A yeoman.
I would have been like, okay, like
Turn 'em into
you
D&D
have
guys.
to you personally have to like answer for the crime you committed, but your people can can have a planet.
Well, when that was what was one of the funny things to me, and I don't know, I almost kind of want there to be an episode where you guys watch an episode and
Live.
yeah, almost like a Mystery Science Theater kind of thing. Because when I was watching
By any
other name, and that chick was like, "Captain, I'm scared," and he put his arms around her shoulders.
Yeah.
The thing I said out loud was, "Well, you shouldn't have worn a red shirt." This is your fault.
We'll do one with you. How about that?
But then in Spacey, this guy's like, hey, this guy was going to fucking kill me. Like, had this woman not let me out of
This
the chamber,
airtight chamber. Yeah.
I would have died. Like this,
I would
dude,
have suffocated.
This dude was going to murder me. But he's like, you know what? Like you can have people can have your planet and do what you can do. That's cool. And just that compassion.
Setting Alpha 5.
There you go. But that
It's a garden spot.
that compassion that he shows no matter what.
Right.
But yeah, core my maneuver is just it's I don't know, it's
good track.
It's
one of the first episodes I rewatched as an adult, and I remember being struck by that episode.
It's like the third or fourth, maybe it's very early
It's
on
very early,
in
yeah.
I thought it
production
was like
order.
the second or third.
It's very early on, and we watched the Cage, which is the original pilot,
Right.
and then we watched Where No Man Has Gone Before. I think the core of my maneuver might be after that. We watched the original pilot and Where No Man Has Gone Before, which is what they're like. Okay, this is what is going to introduce Star Trek to everyone. And I remember watching those, oh, those are cool. Those were fun. Those were really cool. But watching the Corbomite maneuver, I was like, oh, I fucking get it.
Right.
No, yes, okay, this is why this show has survived and has grown for 30 going on 40 years. I get it. This was great, and it's timeless. That episode. Kind of the sets look a little dated and silly, but
I made smarter mythology.
But yeah, you could refilm that today and it'd be the exact same.
They used to do something. They would put something extreme in the scripts, so the censors would be like, "No, you can't do that." So they
You
could
can't do
get
that
away.
on television.
Yeah, that they could get away with other things.
Private little war.
Yeah, exactly. They would. I don't know. They put like, "God damn it, motherfucker!" So that
Right.
the censors would be like, "You can't say God damn it, motherfucker," and then they wouldn't notice that they were. The
Right.
whole episode was actually a commentary on Vietnam.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's a big
So
deal.
favorite. So Sean favorite or
Okay,
or first?
my
Or
first. Well, okay, I'll go very quickly over both. All right, my very first. It's kind of hazy because I remember watching it with my dad before I was 2 years old because my sister hadn't been born yet.
I have no recollection.
My sister hadn't
I
been,
remember falling out of the car when I was like 3.
my sister hadn't been born yet, and I remember watching it on my parents' tiny, like, I don't know, 8, 9-inch color TV and calling
Better than Rob's
exactly
5-incher.
5-inch. Yeah, I was one up on Rob at that point.
I got 8
I
inches of
remember
glory.
being in my tidy whities and watching what I thought was Star Trek with my dad, which is where that joke comes from.
Yeah, we call it Star
Because
Trek.
I remember that, and he corrected me at age 1.5. Yeah, slapped the shit out of me. It's like, it's Trek, you goddamn piece of shit.
Corrected.
I regret having you.
You should have been an abortion. No,
I should have shot you on your mom's face.
that's not misogynistic. It's the 80s. We're still in charge.
Is this your favorite memory?
No, this is my first. My favorite memory, my absolute favorite, and I've never talked about this on the show before, is 1989 was the year Star Trek V came out. And I know this because I was 5 years old, and I was in daycare at the time. And it was the very first time in daycare that I was old enough to go on the field trips with the big kids. And we went to the swimming pool, and somehow I made myself sick. I don't know if I swallowed some water or what, but I had this awful cramp in my stomach. And my mom, trying to get Tinder, you motherfuckers.
Rob, really?
My mom usually came to pick me up from daycare, but this time my dad came. And usually if he came, he just met us at the door. But I was so sick, or whatever, I wasn't feeling well. I was laying down on a mat, which was only for nap time, but they had laid one out for me. He came and picked me up, carried me out, and the whole family went to dinner. I forget what we ate, and then we went to see Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. And I remember the opening scene. It's Kirk climbing a mountain, and Spock's got rocket boots. And I remember looking at my dad, and he was fucking loving it. And I was like, this is it. This is adventure. This is amazing, because he was enjoying it so much, and he had brought me with him. He had taken me out, and he was trying to make me feel better. And Ghostbusters 2 wasn't out yet, so that's what we went to go see. And it's been something that's always been part of my life, but it's never really been front and center. But it's something that my dad and I, who haven't always had the best relationship, have always been able to kind of come back around on. And aside from that, my favorite is recording this episode of this show because this has been, it's not just funny. I feel like we got into some amazing shit this week.
Yeah, this has been a treat.
And I've had a great time.
Sean's sister got married last week at a Renaissance fair.
Yep.
And Sean walked his mom down the aisle, and I was filming it, and Sean's like, well, I'm going to get a costume, and I was like, well, I'll get a costume too. So we went to the costume shop to look at different stuff. At one point, we couldn't really find anything that we liked or that was, really appropriate for April weather in Texas.
Yeah, there was a lot of really heavy shit.
Really heavy velvet stuff, and I was like, I'm not going to wear this. And so I told Sean that we should just wear Starfleet uniforms and act as if
we've come to Renaissance Planet.
We've come to Renaissance Planet. That's the episode we're in.
Oh, Class M Planet.
Yeah, exactly. But we were too afraid my dad would be pissed.
Well, no, you said oh yeah, let's ruin my sister's wedding for a fucking joke.
But then I told my dad about it, and he was like, "Oh, you should have done that." And I'm like, "Son of a bitch!"
For the record, if you want to ruin our wedding as a joke, it's fine.
Well, I'll be officiating at your wedding.
No.
Oh, that's right.
Can I show up dressed as Captain Kirk?
Yes.
And can I give the speech from the beginning of Balance of Terror?
Yes.
One of a captain's
only if
great.
you wear the dress uniform.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
No.
Oh, with the sparkles.
Sparkly jewels.
No, we're having a handful of Star Trek things at the wedding.
Okay.
That I think
We
that I
need
think
to talk about your wedding.
That's
of course
already
we
been
do.
shot down.
But no,
Not on
I
this
don't want
episode.
it. I don't want it to be a Star Trek themed wedding.
Why? Why do you hate fun?
Wow, we're getting into some real shit this week.
Well, to end